Okay, we are going to discuss about exchange of gases. Use this marker. Okay, today we are going to discuss about exchange of gases. Exchange of gases. Actually, in our body, two types of gases must exchange. They are oxygen and carbon dioxide must exchange in our body. In our body, oxygen and carbon dioxide exchange in our body. These two types of gases are exchanging in our body. How they are exchanging and where they are exchanging, we have to discuss now. During the inhale or inspiration, during inhale or inspiration, during inhale or inspiration, we have to take oxygen into our body. At first, oxygen enters into the nostril or external nostril. From nostril, the oxygen enters into nasal chamber. From nostril, oxygen enters into nasal chamber. From nasal chamber, oxygen enters into pharynx. Pharynx. From pharynx, oxygen enters into larynx. Larynx. From the larynx, oxygen enters into the trachea. Trachea. From trachea, oxygen enters into bronchi. Bronchi. From bronchi, oxygen enters into bronchiole. Bronchiole. From this bronchiole, the oxygen enters into alveoli. Alveoli. If we will take the alveoli, alveoli are primary site of alveoli, primary site of gas exchange. Primary site of gas exchange. Primary site of gas exchange. What is the alveoli also? We have to discuss. Actually, in our textbook, this information is not present. Generally, in exchange of the gases, alveoli are the primary sites of gas exchange. This simple, this word is present. But what is alveoli? Also, we have to discuss here. When we are taking oxygen into our body, the oxygen enters at first nostril. Two nostrils are present above the lip. These are the nostrils. From nostril, oxygen enters into nasal chamber. From nasal chamber, oxygen enters into pharynx. Then oxygen enters into larynx. Then trachea. From trachea, oxygen enters into bronchi. From bronchi, oxygen enters into bronchiole. From bronchiole, oxygen enters into the alveoli. The alveoli are primary sites of gas exchange. And I would like to show the alveoli diagrammatically. What are alveoli? What are trachea? What are bronchi? And here, if we will take the lungs, this is the lung. If we will take the lungs, here you can take, this is the lung. Here, trachea. This is the trachea. Trachea divides into two branches. These two branches are called as bronchi. Bronchi. And if we will take the bronchi, trachea divides into two branches. This is called as the bronchi. This bronchi is the primary bronchi. In previous class, we were discussed. Trachea divides into two branches at fifth thoracic vertebrae. At fifth thoracic vertebrae, the trachea divided into two branches. These branches are called as primary bronchi. Primary bronchi. Primary bronchi again show the division. Develops into secondary bronchi. Secondary bronchi. Secondary bronchi. Secondary bronchi again show the division and develops into tertiary bronchi. Tertiary bronchi. In previous class already we were discussed. The tertiary bronchi again show the division, develops into primary bronchiole. It is called as primary bronchiole. Primary bronchiole. Primary bronchiole. And if we will take the primary bronchiole, it again show the division. Primary bronchiole develops into two branches. This is called as secondary bronchiole. Secondary bronchiole. Secondary bronchiole again show the division, develops into tertiary bronchiole. Tertiary bronchiole. Tertiary bronchiole. Tertiary bronchiole show the division, and this is called as a terminal bronchiole. Terminal bronchiole. Terminal bronchiole. The terminal bronchiole opens into the alveoli, and this is called as the alveoli. And it is look like as a tree. That's why this is called as a primary pulmonary tree. Pulmonary tree. In previous class we were discussed. This is the alveoli. The alveoli is the chamber which is present in the lungs. How they are present? I would like to show this diagrammatically. Look at the board. Trachea divides into bronchi. This bronchi enters into the lungs. Bronchi enters into the lungs. These are the lungs. This lung containing a chamber. These chambers are called as alveoli. Lungs containing a chamber. These chambers are called as alveoli. It is the alveoli. In this alveoli, which are present, terminal bronchiole is present. Important for NEET. In 2016, it was a question. Alveoli connected with the first option bronchi, second option bronchiole, third option tertiary bronchiole, fourth option terminal bronchiole. Alveoli connected with the first option bronchi, second option bronchiole, third option tertiary bronchiole, fourth option terminal bronchiole.
Fourth option, sir.
What, Nana?
Fourth option, sir. Terminal bronchiole.
Good. Very good, excellent. To terminal bronchiole. Most of the person must be confused that generally most of the person choose that bronchiole, and some of the persons has to choose the tertiary bronchiole. But the tertiary bronchiole again show the division, develops into terminal bronchiole. The terminal bronchiole enters into the alveoli. Alveoli is the chamber of lung. Alveoli is the chamber of lung. When we are taking the oxygen into our body, the oxygen enters into this alveoli. When oxygen enters into the alveoli, This alveoli is surrounded with, here you can take, this is the alveoli. Alveoli. The alveoli is surrounded with the blood capillary. Here you can take Nana. Alveoli.
Red.
Alveoli. And it must be surrounded with the blood capillaries. How they are surrounding the blood capillaries, we have to see. This is the blood capillary. Surrounded with the blood capillary. Surrounded with the blood capillary. Surrounded with the blood capillary. This is the blood capillary. Blood capillary. Blood capillary. In the blood capillary, RBCs are present in the blood capillary. These are called as RBC. When we are taking oxygen, the oxygen enters into alveoli. Just now we were discussed alveoli. Here O2 is present. This O2 enters into blood capillary. When O2 entering into the blood capillary, at the same time, the carbon dioxide enters into alveoli. This is CO2. CO2 enters into alveoli. This is called as exchange. What is meant by exchange, Nana? When we are giving something a person, the person will give something to us. When we are giving a pen to the person will give a book to us or a pen to us. This is called as exchange. When we are taking during the inhale, the oxygen enters into the alveoli. When the oxygen entering into the alveoli, it must be enters into blood capillary. When it enters into the blood capillary, at the same time, the carbon dioxide enters into the alveoli. The primary exchange, the first exchange occurs in the alveoli. That's why the alveoli is a primary site of gas exchange. Just now we discussed it. It is a primary site of gas exchange. When oxygen enters into the blood, through the blood, the oxygen reaches to the tissues. Through the blood, oxygen reaches to the tissues. The tissues are secondary sites of gas exchange. Tissues are secondary sites of gas exchange. These are the secondary sites of gas exchange. Secondary sites of gas exchange. Secondary site of gas exchange. Secondary site of gas exchange. Why it is secondary? Why? Because through the blood, it reaches to the tissues. When it reaches to the tissues, in the tissues, here you can take this is the tissue. It's a tissue. The tissue also connected with blood vessels. Tissue also connected with blood vessels as like as this. Blood vessels. From the blood vessel, the oxygen enters into the tissue. When oxygen entering into the tissue from the blood vessel, the carbon dioxide enters into the blood. Here, first time, the exchange occurring in the alveoli. When due to the exchange, the oxygen enters into the blood. This oxygen reaches to the cells or tissues. The group of cells is called as the tissue. Whatever it may be, both are same, Nana. Don't get any confusion if it is tissue or cell. When the oxygen reaches the cell or tissue, in the cell, the oxygen and the carbon dioxide must exchange. This is the second place, and this is the first place. That's why the tissues are called as secondary sites of gas exchange. And if anybody says the cells, of course, it's also correct. The group of cells is called as a tissue. The tissues are called as a secondary sites of gas exchange, and the alveoli are called as primary sites of gas exchange. This type of gas exchange occur in the tissue and the alveoli. then we have to know, sir, how they are entering into the tissue and how the oxygen entering into the blood in alveoli and how the carbon dioxide entering into this alveoli from blood. At the same time, how the oxygen entering into the tissues and how the carbon dioxide entering into the blood. It must be depend on some factors. Which factors are involving in this? We have to discuss that. The exchange must be occur due to the pressure gradient of the gas. Through the exchange must occur due to the pressure gradient of the gas. The exchange occurring through the simple diffusion. What is the pressure gradient? When we are taking oxygen, the oxygen enters into alveoli. This alveoli containing more oxygen. That's why the pressure is the pressure gradient of oxygen is more here. But if we will take this blood, the blood containing less oxygen. In alveoli, more oxygen is present, but the blood less oxygen. It is containing less oxygen. Due to the differentiation of oxygen, the diffusion process occurs. In previous class, we were discussing the diffusion. The exchange of the transformation of molecules from higher concentration to lower concentration is called as diffusion. In previous class, we were discussed that. In alveoli, more oxygen is present. That's why the oxygen enters into the blood. In the blood, more carbon dioxide is present, but in alveoli, less carbon dioxide present. Due to the differentiation of pressure, the carbon dioxide enters into the alveoli. At the same time, here also you can take when the oxygen enters into this blood reaches to the tissues. In the blood, more oxygen is present, but in tissues, less oxygen is present. Due to the differentiation, the oxygen enters into the tissue from the blood. And in the tissues, more carbon dioxide is present. Less in the tissues, more carbon dioxide is present. Less oxygen is present. But in blood, less carbon dioxide is present. Due to that differentiation from tissues, the carbon dioxide enters into the blood. In the tissues, the exchange occurs for the second time. That's why it is called as a secondary sites of gas exchanger. Tissues are called as a secondary sites of gas exchanger. And the exchange at first occurs in the alveoli. That's why the alveoli are the primary sites of gas exchanger. This is about the gas exchanger. Gas exchanger. Then how they are exchanging and how the exchanging process occur, how it is depending. For the exchanger, these are the factors which are involving for the exchange of the gases. For the exchange of the gases, these factors are involving. These factors are involving for exchange of gases. These factors, which factors are involving in the exchange of the gases? Here you can take pressure gradient is involved in the exchange of the gas. Pressure gradient of the gas. What is the pressure gradient? In oxygen, in alveoli, the oxygen percentage more. That's why it is entering into the blood. And you may be getting the doubt, sir. Here carbon dioxide also more. In blood, carbon dioxide is more. That's why the carbon dioxide enters into the alveoli. When we will take the carbon dioxide and oxygen, it must exchanging due to the pressure gradient only. If this blood containing very less amount of carbon dioxide, the carbon dioxide does not enter into the alveoli. If the alveoli containing less amount of oxygen, the oxygen does not enter into the blood. So for the exchanger, the pressure gradient is involving for the exchanger. It is playing an important role. The pressure gradient is playing an important role in the exchange of the gases. Not only this pressure gradient, and the solubility nature of the gas also. Solubility nature of gas. or solubility of gases. Solubility of gases also playing an important role. Solubility of gas also playing an important role. For example, here more oxygen is present in the alveoli, but when it enters into the blood, if this oxygen does not dissolve with blood or RBC, if the oxygen does not enter into the blood vessel, the solubility nature also playing an important role. Solubility of the gas also playing an important role in the exchange of gases. And distance of diffusion also play an important role. Distance of diffusion. Distance of diffusion also play an important role. For example, here you can take this is the alveoli. This is the alveoli. Here alveoli is present. Here blood vessel is present. This is the blood vessel. Blood vessel. More distance is present. That's why the exchange must be slow. Here you can take less distance is present. That's why the exchange is speed. Here the pressure gradient of gas involving in the exchange of the gases, along with the pressure gradient, solubility of the gas also involving. Solubility of the gas also involving. Not only solubility of the gas, distance of diffusion also involving. Just now I drawn here diagram. Here very less distance is present. That's why the exchange is speed. But here you can take more distance is present. That's why the exchange is slow, very slow. That's why the distance of diffusion also playing an important role in the exchange of the gases. Not only this, thickness of respiratory membrane also playing an important role. Thickness of respiratory membrane. Thickness of respiratory membrane. Thickness of respiratory membrane also playing an important role. Thickness of respiratory membrane. This is also playing an important role. If this blood vessel wall is thin, not thick, thin, the gas must be easily enters into the blood vessel. If it is containing more thick wall, here you can take a thick wall is present, this much thick wall is present. To exchange, it will take more time. To exchange, it will take more time. That's why the thickness of respiratory membrane also playing an important role. These are the factors which are involving in the exchange of the gases. Which factors are involving? I would like to explain these factors once again. Listen to me. Pressure gradient of the gas. Pressure gradient of the gas. Second one, solubility of the gas. Solubility of the gas. Third one, distance of diffusion. Next, thickness of the respiratory membrane. And one more factor also present. Surface area. Surface area of the surface area. Surface area also playing an important role in the exchange of the gases. If more surface area is present, more gases must be exchanged. If less surface area is present, only less gas must be exchanged. The surface area also playing an important role in the exchange of the gases. These are the 5 factors which are playing an important role in the exchange of the gases. These 5 factors are pressure gradient, solubility of the gas, distance of diffusion, and the next thickness of respiratory membrane, surface area. These are the 5 factors which are playing an important role in the exchange of the gases. This is about the exchange of the gases. This is about exchange of the gases. And if we will take this exchange of the gases, just now we were discussed pressure gradient. Pressure gradient. And you can take air. If we will take the air, you can take air. This is the mixture of gases. Mixture of gases. Air. Mixture of gases. In the air you can take oxygen present in the air, carbon dioxide present in the air, carbon monoxide present in the air, nitrogen present in the air, nitrogen present in the air. And so many gases are present in the air. It's a mixture of the gas. The air, it is a mixture of the gas. The individual pressure of the air, individual pressure of the gas is called as partial pressure. Individual pressure of the gas. Individual pressure of the gas. Individual pressure of the gas is called as partial pressure. Partial pressure. Individual pressure of the gas is called as a partial pressure. What is the individual pressure? Here you can take air. Just now we were discussed. It's a mixture of gas. Mixture of gas. In this air, oxygen present, carbon dioxide present, carbon monoxide present, nitrogen present, hydrogen present, hydrogen present. So many gases are present in this. The pressure of individual gas is called as partial pressure. It must be indicated with the pressure of individual gas is called as partial pressure. It must be indicated with P. For example, you can take the pressure of oxygen is called as PO2. Partial pressure of oxygen. The pressure of carbon dioxide is called as PCO2. Partial pressure of carbon dioxide. The pressure of carbon monoxide, PCO. Pressure of carbon monoxide. Pressure of hydrogen, pressure of nitrogen, P nitrogen, P hydrogen, such like we have to indicate. If we will take the air, it is the mixture of gases. Air, it is containing so many gases. So many types of gases are present in the air. Mixture of gases. Which gases are present in the air? Oxygen present, carbon dioxide present, carbon monoxide present, nitrogen present, hydrogen present, helium present, argon. So many gases are present in this. And each and every gas containing some pressure. Oxygen containing an individual pressure, carbon dioxide containing individual pressure, nitrogen containing individual pressure, hydrogen containing individual pressure. The individual pressure of gas, it must be called as partial pressure. The oxygen containing individual pressure, that is indicated with PO2, partial pressure of oxygen. Carbon dioxide containing individual pressure, that is called as PCO2. And carbon monoxide also containing individual pressure, that is called as PCO. And hydrogen also containing individual pressure, pH2. The individual pressure of gases is called as partial pressure. But in this air, so many gases are present, but there is no need to discuss about those gases. In respiration, the oxygen and carbon dioxide play an important role in the respiration. That's why we have to discuss about the pressure of oxygen and carbon dioxide. How much percentage of oxygen present in the air and how much percentage of carbon dioxide present in the air, we have to discuss. And here you can take oxygen and you can take carbon dioxide. If we will take the atmosphere, Nana, this is a gas. And you can take an atmosphere. Atmosphere. This is very most important table. In the NEET, from this table, the questions will come in the NEET. And the exchange of the gas also most important. In previous class, we were discussed respiratory volumes. They are also very most important for NEET purpose. But in previous class, we were discussed about trachea, lungs, such like. Of course, if any question will come, the question may come, but the respiratory volumes and exchange of the gas most important for need purpose. That's why you have to remember perfectly and listen carefully. If we will take atmosphere, it is containing 159. And if we will take this carbon dioxide in atmosphere, 0.3% of carbon dioxide is present. And you can take alveoli. Just now we were discussed alveoli. This is the alveoli. In alveoli, it is containing 104 pressure. And if we will take the carbon dioxide, only 40 pressure is present in the alveoli. And you can take oxygenated blood. Oxygenated blood. Oxygenated blood. In oxygenated blood, 95% of oxygen is present. 95. We will take the carbon dioxide, only 40%. 40 pressure is present. 40 pressure of carbon dioxide is present in oxygenated blood. And you can take deoxygenated blood. Deoxygenated blood. Deoxygenated blood. Deoxygenated blood. In deoxygenated blood, only 40% of 40 pressure is present. Oxygen pressure is only 40, but you can take a carbon dioxide pressure 45. In deoxygenated blood, more carbon dioxide is present. If we will take the tissue, when the blood reaches the alveoli, this blood is deoxygenated blood. That's why from this deoxygenated blood, the carbon dioxide enters into alveoli and the oxygen enters into the blood. When we will take the tissue, near the tissue, the blood containing oxygen, more oxygen, it's a oxygenated blood. That's why more oxygen present in the blood. This oxygen enters into the tissues and the carbon dioxide enters into the blood. In deoxygenated blood, 40 pressure of oxygen is present and 45 pressure of carbon dioxide is present. And when we will take the tissues, if we will take the tissues, and here you can take tissues. Tissues. In tissues also same. Oxygen only 40. Just now we were discussed. And carbon dioxide is 45%. That's why from tissue, the carbon dioxide enters into the blood. From tissue, the carbon dioxide enters into the blood. This is about the percentage of gases in the atmosphere. Most important, this table is very most important. They have to ask in the NEET as like as this. Deoxygenated blood containing. Deoxygenated blood containing. Deoxygenated blood contains. Blood contains. How much pressure of oxygen? How much pressure of carbon dioxide? Here you can take deoxygenated blood containing 45. If they ask oxygen, how much pressure of oxygen? Only 40 pressure of oxygen is present. This type of the questions will come in the NEET. That's why this table is very most important. You can remember and listen. You can remember perfectly and properly. Children followed. Anybody want to answer it now? Children
Followed, sir. Followed, sir.
Okay. Now we have to discuss about the oxygen and carbon dioxide. This is also most important. Only one point is present. And listen to me. Carbon dioxide dissolve or diluted in the blood speeder than the oxygen. It must be dissolved in the blood speeder than the oxygen. How much speed, Nana? 20 to 25 times. 20 to 25 times greater than the oxygen. If carbon dioxide is present and oxygen is present near the blood, which is entering into the blood speedily, 20 to 25 times speed 20 to 25 times greater than the which the carbon dioxide enters into the blood speedily than oxygen. How much times it is entering? 20 to 25 times speedily it must be entered. So when the blood contains oxygen and carbon dioxide, the carbon dioxide speedily enters into the blood. Why? Because it is containing dissolve, it must be dissolved in the blood speedily. How much times it must be dissolved? 20 to 25 times greater than the oxygen. If the oxygen and carbon dioxide is present, the carbon dioxide enter and it must be easily dissolved in the blood. How much times? 20 to 25 times greater than the oxygen. This is also very most important for need purpose. Here you have to remember the carbon dioxide dissolved in the blood 20 to 25 times greater than oxygen. And just now we discussed the thickness, also playing the thickness of respiratory membrane. Thickness of respiratory membrane. Also playing an important role in the exchange of the gases. What is the thickness? Here you can take alveoli. It is containing a squamous epithelium. This is also very most important in our